Hello, 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 everybody. It is Friday. It is the weekend. And if you're like me, I am completely, truly satisfied about it. I'm Alvin King, and welcome to He Said, He Said, He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned Black man perspective. Thank you for joining us again this week. Last week was just like incredible. It was our premiere week, and we were just so happy to do it and get your comments and your feedback. I want to share some things with you. First of all, tonight's topic is the power of love. And do we have some conversation for you? Again, you guys wrote to us. You talked to Vash. You talked to Jaques. You gave all of us your feedback. So I really appreciate you guys doing that. I want to reiterate something about the show, our format. Our show is about bringing topics to the forefront. Some of them are controversial. Some of them are going to be provocative, thought-provoking, and even life learning for a lot of people. We are all inclusive. I mean, we accept, everyone to hear our comments. We're not discriminating against anyone, the young, the old, the gay, the straight, the Black, the white, the yellow, etc. We just hope that our topics will give you some insight and inspire you to have discussions amongst yourselves after you hear our topic. So we really appreciate you doing that. We also want to share with you some comments that we got from some of our viewers. One of the main comments that we got was, were we going to have women on the show? Of course, we're going to have women on the show. Again, we are all inclusive. We plan to have women on the show. But again, the show is He Said, He Said, He Said. And it's just us three guys giving you our opinions and our views on what we think and what we believe on topics that we know if we're talking about it, you are also talking about it. So in addition to that, what we've done, we want to make sure that we hear from you. So we now have an Instagram account, and we now have a Gmail account. We do have a Facebook account that is coming at you, but it's under construction. Our Gmail account is He Said, He Said, He Said Live at Gmail. And our Instagram account is He Said, He Said, He Said Live on Instagram. Please go to our Instagram account or send us an email on Gmail. If you hear something that you like, that you want us to talk about, we are so happy and we want to hear from you because you are the ones who are going to keep us going. So we do appreciate you. Without further ado, now I'm going to bring on my first co-host all the way from the West Coast, the guy with the golden voice. Come on in here, Jaques Whitfield. How you doing, man?
Hey, doing great. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday, Alvin. It seems like we were just on literally a day ago. And
Right.
It's this week has gone by so quickly. But it's a pleasure to be back with you and to be back with all of you. So how's it going?
I am doing well. I can't complain. I've just been excited all week. I don't have to tell you how we've been working to make sure that, we bring our viewers a good show. So thank you for being here again. And
Absolutely.
Without further ado, I'm going to bring in our second co-host from the city of brotherly love. Come on in here, Mr. Vash Bodie.
Hey, everybody. How you two doing? It's so good to see you both.
Good to see you, man. What t-shirt are you rocking today?
I am rocking the Tree of Life, personally designed and bedazzled by me. I design my own t-shirts because I can't find things that I like to wear and bedazzle. I have this thing about bedazzling not only my shirts, but I also bedazzle my jeans. Pretty much anything I wear, I usually try to add
life is bedazzled.
Sparkle.
So it's beautiful.
It's really funny that you guys said that because another one of the comments or questions that came in, and I'm assuming that people were watching, and because I'm in fashion, they thought this show was all about fashion. And
Well,
so
it's not all about, but fashion
it's not,
certainly is in our DNA, right?
it is in our
fashion
DNA.
people will fashion. Fashion people fashion. That's what it is.
Well,
Absolutely.
I'm loving the t-shirt first of all, and
Thank you.
I got to talk to you about that. Getting me one because I'm a t-shirt guy, so I definitely want to get one. But how else has you guys' week been? I mean, I know
Um,
for me, it's all about the coronavirus vaccine.
Wow. What's been going on?
Well, I got my vaccine, my shot last Thursday.
Awesome.
You guys, I don't think I told you, but I was a little weary that I was going to come on the show and I didn't know how I was going to be feeling, if I was going to be walking. You know, I just didn't know, but I was fortunate enough to get it. And I was very happy about that. But on that same subject, I'm having a problem with the way they're administering the vaccine. I mean, okay, now think about this. Work with me now. You know that millions and millions of people are going to log into something so that they can make an appointment to get the website, correct? I mean, to get the vaccine, correct?
Yeah.
Totally.
Now, where did they buy these servers from? Walmart? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I mean, because when I go online to get a Beyonce ticket, Ticketmaster doesn't go down.
Well, you know, sometimes they do go down, and you know, the government has had this problem with when they had the Affordable Care Act, when people started logging in. When you have that concentration of people going in to a technology to try to do something, you are going to overwhelm the system. Twitter goes down, Facebook goes down.
I get it. I know things go down, but we all know right up front that millions and millions of people, and I'm not talking about just go down. I'm talking about go down for 3 days.
Wow.
Fortunately,
that has been an issue.
No, I hear what you're saying. So, with respect to the coronavirus, Alvin, you know, I am bi-coastal, so I am taking care of my mother back in North Carolina and going back and forth between the West Coast and North Carolina. So I'm pleased that my mom got her shot this week, and it was smooth sailing. So I can say different jurisdictions are doing different things. I think it would be wonderful if we had a national policy, and I think personally, because of the new administration, that we'll start to see more national coordination and we're starting to see that now. But I can tell you, in California, I've been pleased, and in North Carolina, I've been pleased at the efficiency of the system, because it is. You know, I mean, it's daunting, right? You have 330 million people in the United States that get to be, you know, vaccinated. And so this is a global pandemic and the entire world is dealing with it. I can say that I think we got up to a slow start because of the previous administration. You know, regardless of where you are politically, I think it is fair to acknowledge that there is more that could have been done from a national perspective. So I'm glad to see, even if we're starting out, you know, at a deficit, I'm glad to see that the new administration is making some major headways in coordinating with states and counties and local jurisdictions to make sure that everybody gets vaccinated. So I'm on the list. I haven't been vaccinated yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Well, I'm certainly not a Debbie Downer. I'm not trying to be that, and I'm I'm excited about how fast it's moving and how fast people are getting vaccinated. But that's been my week, has been just being, you know, a pioneer, or just making sure that everybody has the information to at least try to register if they possibly can. So here's to the world. I hope you guys are able to do that, and I wish you luck. And
so I want to ask you, did you have any side effects, or how did you feel afterwards? Because I know different people are doing different things, and what was your experience?
My experience, my left arm was sore for 2 days, but that was the first one. I understand the second shot of the Moderna shot, for which I received, is really the one that kind of makes you ill. I've talked to a couple of people who had it, and the second shot just gave them some cold symptoms or whatever. But for anybody who's listening to this show tonight who know me, you know, I have a medicine cabinet full of everything from bourbon to Advil, okay, to Xanax, okay, whatever. I will definitely attack whatever is going to attack me. So I'm good, but no side effects so far.
I love that bourbon is medicinal for you.
Well, can we talk about the Golden Globes?
Oh,
I just want to throw in real quick before we jump to the Golden Globes. I'm having a separate issue as we deal with this vaccination. You know, I'm taking care of my mom as well, Jaques. And
that's right. That's right.
We tried to get her to go and get a vaccine, and she was adamant that she did not want one. Now, with the rest of the world, as you're saying, trying to go get the vaccine, I'm trying to get someone who is in a very high risk group to go, and she refused. I was absolutely blown away. So as we all try to go get the vaccine, know that there's still people who are out here who are saying they don't want to get it.
So Vash, I hear you, and I will tell you, my brother, we went through the same thing, but what we did was eliminate the option. So we totally changed our conversation with our mom. Not, are you going to get it, or would you like to get it? But mom, when you get the vaccine,
exactly.
Totally. And my mom happens to be very religious, and the blood of Jesus cures and heals all things. And we had to dig deep into the word that says get wisdom, and with all that get understanding. So we could. I hear you, and I feel you. And I am pleased. It was a major victory that my mom got the shot. I will say that, because even right up until the very minute, we were coordinating with my siblings. Did she go? Is she there yet? Did she get the shot? And so, I'm pleased to report that went better than expected. So, yeah.
Well, I am glad.
Congratulations. I will keep you updated, because this one is. I did that. I was like, "Let's go. We're going to go tomorrow." No, I'm not. So we will. I will keep you updated.
Yeah, definitely. Let's do that update.
And we will keep you in prayer. Okay, guys, are y'all ready to talk about the power of love?
Yes.
Okay. Are you ready to talk about the power of love?
Yes.
Ladies
Absolutely.
and gentlemen, our topic for tonight is the power of love. Now, we have gotten a lot of questions questions to us that people want us to answer. So this is all random. Thank you for sending in the questions. So I'm just going to shoot, right from the hip and put it out there, guys. Our first question is, what is the craziest thing that you've ever done for love?
Oh my God.
What is the craziest thing that you've ever done for love? And
is this a good time to question what kind of love we're talking about? Because
let's have a little qualifier in that.
Is it a verb or is that a noun?
Love is love, but remember, we are a family show, and even though we're here on at 7 Eastern Standard Time, it is 4:00 where Jaques is. Okay, so keep in mind. For the babies. For the babies. But when I saw that question, I thought about it for a minute. And I said, if I'm going to be painfully honest, I'm going to answer that question. And the craziest thing that I have ever done for love was that I loved someone so much that I ignored who they really are.
Okay, right on.
That is the crazy. And when I tell you, hey Bobby, hey Alma, I love someone so much that I ignored who they are, and I paid dearly for it. And you have no idea that how hard when I thought about it, it was crazy. I did things that I didn't think that I would ever do, because in my mind, I love this person, but knowing that this person was not good for me.
See, Alvin, and I hear you, and that resonates with me in part, but I'll tell you, and Vash, you can appreciate this. In the transformation space, I have come to recognize and to own that everything I have experienced, especially regarding love and relationships, that I have created, that I have manifested, and I have freed myself from the judgment of right, wrong, good or bad, crazy, that type of thing. And so that's why this question is fascinating to me and really difficult, Alvin, because I'm stuck, because I believe that everything that I have done and experienced with respect to love, I've created, and it has served me because it has allowed me to grow to that next level. And so I'm really stuck, because in terms of crazy, where before I would have given a laundry list of things, now I'm of the opinion, and Vash, maybe you can coach me. send me an invoice. But I believe that, that it has all served me, and that's, even in terms of the person I was connected to, where before I would have judged that person or said it was a negative thing, I attracted that person into my life. And there was a life lesson that I got to learn, brought to me by the universe, and it was absolutely perfect in terms of my growth and development. So I don't look at it. I mean, I hear your question. It stumps me, and it stumps me because I don't look at it now in terms of craziness, or I've had some adventures. God knows I have, and I think even those things have served me.
Okay, okay. I'm going to say now, when I am coaching someone, it is a very different space. There is no judgment. I would accept what you say as face value. We would move on in a way that would be different. But we are chatting, and I'm going to say, I understand the road to enlightenment has a lot of bumps. Right. And I understand that looking back, you can accept them, but there has got to be something where you were like, once you realized it was the wrong thing, you were like, why the hell did I do that for so long? And I'm going to, right?
Of course.
Because with me, I dated someone who was a bartender at a time that I had a very, very demanding job. But love makes you do crazy things. And I would take a nap in the afternoon when I got home from work so that I could be awake when they got home from work, and then be able to hang out and have some quality time, and then go to sleep, and then get up and go to work.
How'd that work out for you?
I'm still single, ain't I? So, I mean, it was cute for a while, but at a certain point, it was crazy. It was crazy. You know, it's like, you know, there's a sacrifice that one can make for the sake of love. Right. And then there becomes a point where you're like, you know what? I have given up a lot. Right. And now, you know, I'm like, you know, your house is dirty. You know.
All right, Vash.
And that's where I am right now. So, you know, I just know that when I had to think about that question, I really thought hard. Hey, Bernard, we have people on here from Antigua, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so hey, how you doing? So I just had to dig deep to make sure, because I mean, I didn't want to just come out, because I've done the same thing twice. If I want to really say crazy things, I've done several things twice, but there was one thing that I did, and that like I said, I ignored who the person was.
All right, guys. So now I'll give an answer. Thank you, Vash, for the coaching. Please send me a receipt and an invoice, and I'll happily bill you. So for me, the craziest thing that I have done in the name of love is to shrink myself to make myself fit into someone else's vision. I think, and I went against everything I knew to be true about me to become small enough and less threatening and less fill in the blank to fit into an acceptable image of my partner, which, yeah, that was crazy and dumb and stupid. And I'm grateful that I went through it, because of that growth experience that led me to where I am now, which is, you know, which is happy and grateful and balanced. And I would never shrink myself, or never become small, or never become invisible to fit into someone else's insecure vision or scope. So yeah, that's my answer.
Okay.
Perfect.
Well,
how was that?
Go ahead.
I love that.
Oh, good.
So okay, we're gonna go to our second question that somebody's asked us. Wow. Should you change for someone you love? Okay, so and that, for me, I think there are parameters with that, because I think that there's some people may jump up and say, there was a time when I would say, oh hell no, I'm not changing for you. I'm going to be who I am. That would be me. Yeah. But I'm not where I am in my life right now. You know, it's like give and take. You know, sometimes you have to, you may have to change or to adjust, because I may not be able to complain so much about someone leaving a dish in my sink. You see what I'm saying? Okay, I might have to go. Okay,
yeah, but Alvin,
if that's all you're doing, I can do that. That's my personality.
Right.
But that's accepting someone else, which is a form of compromise, versus change. To me, change would be them you leaving the dish in the sink and them saying, you know what, I have anxiety about dishes in the sink. So from now on, when a dish has to go into the sink, I would appreciate it if you would wash it. That to me has changed.
So it's not give and take. Okay, so the same, because if that person can do it, then I mean, why is it that I don't have the same? It's not a give and take.
Well, see, that's different. And I believe that with change, you would better be able to change in a relationship. Because to me, one of the greatest things about a relationship, there's 3 C's: commitment, communication, and compromise. And compromise encapsulates that change. I mean, if someone has something about me that they don't particularly like, I want to be able to take some stock and see, well, do I like this about me?
Right.
Because if I really like it about me, but then also if it's something that they need in order to feel loved, safe, etc., I want to make sure that I can change myself to accommodate them, so long as I feel as though I'm not compromising myself.
Yeah,
I'm on the hell no end, and at 57 years young, no. And here's the other thing, and this would be a fun topic. People really change. I mean, I have the same personality I had when I was 6 years old. I'm just older, and I have more. There are more words in my vocabulary, but I haven't really changed. I may have evolved in certain areas, but my core is still the same. So and at 57, I know what I like. I know what serves me. I know what doesn't. I don't mind a recalibration, but I am not changing. Absolutely not. And because I think the problem for me has been I have attempted to change, and I'm saying that in air quotes. But after a while, that wears thin, that wears old, and then I go back to the old me, and it's a whole type of situation. So I would rather, I'm a hell no. I'm a hell no.
Well, and I know it's all subjective, but I disagree with you. I think people do change. I think people do change if people evolve. And what is that's evolution. I think people, you're not. I know that I'm not the same person that I was at 20, that I am now at 61.
Okay, I grant you that. I grant you that. Having said that, I'm not changing for anybody.
Yeah. No. Okay.
That's not me.
So that would be a hell
Jaques
no for
is a no.
you. Okay. All right. Whitaker said they agree with you. Okay. Whitaker said I agree with you, Doc. Okay.
Yeah.
So our third question that somebody asked us: is love a choice or is it a feeling?
Ooh. Okay. I want to go last. Y'all go first. I got a great answer. I love that question, and I got a great answer.
Well, okay, go ahead. I'm okay. You want me to, Vash? You want to go ahead?
Well, you know me. I have a question. So I have a question.
Okay.
So you go ahead. Answer.
I don't want to come off like okay, it's both. I don't want to say that because I believe that I choose what I want to do. Okay, I strongly believe that. However, when I start thinking about whether it's a choice or not, I think about our families, and I think about our families, and even though they make us mad, or let's say a high school friend that you've been friends with forever, them and they make you mad. You kind of choose to love. You kind of choose that. You kind of choose if you want to. I kind of choose if I want to love that person, even though they're treating me a certain way. But in a relationship, that can be kind of scary. That's kind of tricky for me. That is a very tricky thing, because if I ain't feeling you, chances are I ain't gonna be loving you like that. Okay. If I'm not, if you're not getting the hair stirred up, no.
Vash, what do you think?
Well, I mean, my question really was, are we talking about romantic love, or are we talking about other types of love? Because I definitely think that there are certain family members that we got to love no matter what. But when it comes to romantic love, there's 2 sides to that. There's sometimes people that you just feel, right? Like they come into a room and you are just drawn to them, and that's an energy thing.
That's the energy.
But then there are other people that over time you develop an affection for and choose to take it to the next level.
Right. Well, I don't think that. I think if we're talking about the power of love, We're talking about love. So however you answer that question, you know, if you have two answers, then, you know, based on romantic love or platonic love, you answer that's for you to answer. But if we're talking about the power of love and whether if love is a choice or a feeling, I however you want to interpret that, however you want to answer that.
See, and for me, I believe that love is energy. It is much more than a feeling, in my opinion. I think it is a decision, it's a commitment, but love at its core is energy. It is actually matter. And through a quantum physics perspective, we know that matter cannot be created or destroyed. It can change forms, but it never goes away. And I think that that energy is an abundant, infinite supply in the universe that we get to tap into. And for me, it's energy. I think it's also a choice. I can choose to tap into that energy and acknowledge it and flow in that space, or I can choose not to. And in my life journey, there are times that I have closed myself off to love. I know in the space that I'm in now, I consider myself to be living in the open heart space. And so love is all around me and is constantly manifesting in multiple forms. And I get to choose every day whether I want to stay and vibrate and play in that space, or if I want to, if I choose to close myself off. So for me, it is energy. It is energy that I lean into and acknowledge, and I get to play almost in this universal vortex. But I think it is much more than a feeling.
And it's definitely much more than so. I want to make sure that I understand you what you just said. And so if the question was, is it a choice or a feeling? What would you lean more toward, a choice or it being a feeling, based on what you just shared?
Yeah, definitely a choice. Yeah, because there's nothing more power. There's nothing more powerful in the universe in terms of operating agency in our own lives. And so choosing to love someone, and it goes back to what Vash was saying earlier, because we have those family members. God bless those family members where we may, and that's interesting, even as the words are coming out of my mouth, because we may not like them, but we choose to love them. And you know what I mean? And that's not a cop-out, but that's true.
That was my point. And, you know, as I talk about whether it's a choice, Alma says, Jaques, that is so over my head. LOL. Okay. But no, I definitely get where you're going. And okay, all right. Well, I'm going. Do you have something, Vash?
Just one last thing I want to add. Focused love is power.
Absolutely.
So, you know,
focused love is power.
So the choice to love is focusing your love, which is such power. So
I agree with that.
I'm just dovetailing on what Jaques said. It's like, you know, that's my punctuation on that.
Okay. All right. Well, we of course we're in a pandemic, so the question about love came up in this manner. How has love played a role in your relationship? Family, friends, husband, wife, significant other, etc., particularly during this pandemic. How has love played a role in that for you?
So for me, I have learned one of the amazing gifts of the pandemic is I have learned not to take anything for granted. And where before human connection may have been something that I took for granted, not being able to connect with my loved ones, not being able to connect with people that I have great affection for, really impacted me and caused me to do a lot of reflection. That moved me into an appreciation space. So for me, Alvin, I have learned just the beauty of love and the beauty of connection and what an amazing gift it is. And to help me recognize that life is now, because tomorrow isn't promised. Because, you know, I remember the day the stay-at-home orders came into effect, and I was like, oh, well, this will be done by, you know, in a couple of weeks or in a month. And, you know, a year later, we're still in this space.
Right.
And so that was a powerful gift. That was a powerful life lesson for me, just to learn not to take that for granted. particularly when it comes to love.
Okay. Vash?
Well, my experience during this pandemic has really been about caring for other people. So when I got here last year in February, because I'm in Philadelphia for specific reasons. And I ended up helping take care of an uncle, my dad's youngest brother, as well as taking care of my mom. So I had to go out during this pandemic and confront, the unknown to make sure that I took care of people. I mean, when everyone else was sheltering at home, I was in grocery stores pretty much at least every other day, sometimes every day, always out and about in places where I was encountering other people. And love played a huge part in that, like getting past that fear, both of the unknown and prior stuff. So that's where it was for me.
I didn't, this may sound selfish, and if I'm saying it, it probably does sound selfish. But
this doesn't sound racist.
It doesn't.
Exactly. Hey, this is the no judgment zone, Alvin. Remember, no judgment zone.
No judgment zone. Exactly.
But no, on this particular question about the pandemic and love, I have really, not that I did not love myself already. I love myself. I really do. But I have found new ways to love myself during this pandemic. I have found new ways to love everything around me. I mean, I have people who have I would be short-tempered with. I have found a place in my spirit to say, I love that person, because the pandemic has shown me, if I didn't know already, that tomorrow is not promised. So I'm not holding any grudges against anybody. I don't care who you are, what you did, where you came from, whatever the case may be. I am going to love you away if that is the case.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Dovetailing on that, do you think it's possible to love everybody?
That is an absolute no.
Well, but why? Because if love is a choice, and I practically, Alvin, I agree. Practically, I don't disagree, but intellectually, I think it is. Isn't it possible? I mean, if love is a choice, and I can choose to look beyond, like the song, you look beyond my faults and saw my needs. Why can't you?
Well, I'm going to say these past 4 years have taught me that I am not going to love someone who feels that I can't live exactly or as good or even better than they are, that the quality of my life is unimportant. I am not going to love you. I am not going to love you, but what I'm going to do is love you away. Okay? And so to Jaques' question, is it possible? Of course. Is racism, does it exist? Of course.
Yeah.
Is somebody going to treat me like I'm less than?
Yeah.
And I should love them?
And I struggle with that. I hear what you're saying, and I'm at war with, and I guess why this question resonates with me, Alvin and Vash, is because I'm at war with myself every day on this question. You guys know I do diversity, equity, inclusion training in the public sector. So I go into spaces, creating safe spaces so that people can have these conversations. The conversations are often difficult, and I hear craziness. And in my professional space, I'm not supposed to respond to the crazy. Yet when I walk away, I'm like, did she really just say, blah, 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 blah. And in my personal life, I mean, having, issues with, the pandemic has just stood me upside down all the way there, because I've decided not to, one of the things I've done during the pandemic, I've made this bold statement that I will never have another public issue, disagreement with another brown or black person ever. I don't care what. I'm not going to tear you down, especially a black man. And the space I'm in now, and I'm going through a real life issue with a a colleague, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't want to go there. Man, we've been alive long enough. Can we just let this crap go? Life is too short. Why are you still holding on to this negativity and this energy? Why can't we choose to just let it go? And it's like the scene from The Godfather too. Like
Mm,
every time
mm,
I pull out, they keep
mm.
pulling me back in. And so I'm literally at a tug of war that I don't want to go there because I know
Well,
what my natural tendency is to be, just the scorched earth policy, and I don't want to be that person. And
well,
because I
but
think that does something negatively to me. And so that's why your questions are really like messing me up in a good way because I'm like, oh my God.
well,
You know,
and not to desensitize what you're saying, but at the end of the day, for what you just expressed to us, you're getting paid to not go crazy. That's your job, right?
yeah, well, yes.
Okay, so I'm not saying that you're not human, but you're getting paid to listen, to take that, to deal with that. That's a
Right.
that's but after 5 o'clock.
But after 5 o'clock is where I struggle, Alvin, because recognizing the humanity in everyone and said, what was it about that human being? Yes, it was their lived experience that led them to these conclusions or a set of
Mhm,
conclusions.
mhm.
But then I want to stay, and you know me, Alvin, I want to be in the positive, happy space. I
I
don't
hear
want to
you.
think that everyone who happens to subscribe to this, philosophy is, the way, where I've got to be looking over my shoulder all the time. But there are times that I really struggle, and thank God for Cabernet Sauvignon and
Yeah.
and all the
Well,
wines of California that help me manage that.
well, like I said, there's a point in your life where you have to love people away. You just have to love them away. I'm not going to
And
take
so
it.
tell,
I'm not, and so I'm not going to. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm
Mhm.
not going to challenge you.
yeah,
I'm not going to
yeah,
do. I have to love you away. And
yeah,
and
yeah.
if anybody wants to, if anyone wants to, come up with their own description for what Alvin's means, is meaning that I'm going to let you go, and I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to subscribe to what you're doing.
Right. It's like
So
what TD Jakes says, give the gift of goodbye.
give
Like one
the.
of my favorite sermons of his is like the gift of goodbye. That set me free. Thank you,
Okay.
TD Jakes. Yeah, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we have to stop our conversation on the power of love because this time just runs out, and we need to go to our next segment of the show, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the pop up. Okay,
The
so
pop up.
thank you guys. It's all yours, Jacques.
Thank you. So I think first on the pop up, can we talk about, and now after having given that admonition that I'm never going to tear down a brown person, particularly another brown man, and I'm not. I'm
Okay,
not.
look,
This is
look,
not.
it's
This is
no
he
I
said.
can't wait
judgment.
to hear this. I
No,
can't wait to hear what's coming next.
no judgment. Go
Right.
ahead. What
So
you have to
uh,
say? What you got to say, Jock? What
So
you
I
got to
just
say?
want to talk about one of my all-time fashion icons,
Mhm, mhm.
Mr. Andre Leon Talley, right? And
Okay.
yes, so
Hmm.
I love Andre. I followed
Hmm.
his career, as a fashionista, as a gay man who loves like great style. I love him. But like, and so I read the account of the in the New York
It's
Times.
in the New York Times and page 6 of the fashion column.
What?
Right. And so New
Okay.
York Times and New York Post, of course, I tried to stay with the Times, but of course,
Uh-huh.
I had to go to the Post to get the real tea.
Get the real tea.
Right. And
Okay.
so from the enlightenment and Vash is looking right through me. So I just see this life development coach. So I'm gonna stay here. I was
Well,
trying
wait a
not to
minute.
You
go
know what?
here.
Speak your mind. Speak your piece. Tell, because I don't know what's
tell
going
us
on.
what's happening.
Oh, okay.
What's
So
happening?
what's going on is that he is in a pretty extensive legal dispute, um, regarding this multi-million dollar mansion that he has been renting for quite some time, and it's the classic case of you cannot mix business with pleasure because he is now, I mean, and he's one of the most iconic people in fashion in the world, not just in the United States. but he is now like in eviction proceedings, and there are all these suits and countersuits about what really happened between him and the creative director of Manola Blanc, when they entered into this agreement, several years ago. Apparently, when they started out, there was a lease agreement. It was a 2-year lease agreement. When the lease agreement expired, they never renewed the agreement, and it was basically, just going off a handshake. Circumstances changed again. Then lo and behold, the owners of the mansion then sued Mr. Talley for some $500,000 in back rent.
$513 million. Okay.
Wait, how much?
$513,000.
$513,000.
Right.
I'm sorry, $513,000.
It's a hot mess.
Okay.
It's a hot mess.
It's a hot mess. But okay,
Yes.
wait a minute. Hold. Okay, I got to jump in because I love me some Andre Leon Talley too. But this whole shaking your hand on $1 million deal for your home.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, maybe I just don't make enough money to have that type of thought process behind me. Maybe I don't. But you're not going to tell me, no one's going to tell me, okay, you know what? The story goes, they bought him and his name is George Malkemus. And he owns Manola Blanc. He and his partner bought the house for $1 million, and basically a little over $1 million, and told Andre Leon Talley that if he paid back $1 million and some odd dollars, that the house could be theirs with a handshake.
Yeah.
With a handshake. Now Andre Leon Talley has paid over that according to
his records. Yes.
According to him.
Yeah.
But now that this Manola Blanc is, they're filed for bankruptcy, they they want to sell the house. But
it's an asset of the bankrupt estate. So I get that.
Yeah, and there's no legal binding piece of paper other than a handshake. And again, maybe I don't make enough money, but at the end of the day, I think that Manola Blanc knew that Andre Leon Talley, with his status, he helped build them. He helped build Manola Blanc, because before there was Louboutin, there was Manola Blanc. Okay, and he helped build them.
According to
Well, he's
to the true fashionistas, Manola Blanc never went anywhere. They are
okay. Well, they're in court right now. Okay, so
right.
Well, Sex in the City had a little bit to do with Manola Blanc.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
And I think the takeaway here is, no matter, and let's acknowledge this in the fashion world, and I have been blessed to be, in and out. I'm part of the fashion world. I'm a professional model now, and even in my last shoot. So yeah, I had to drop it. So even in my last shoot, of course, what do we all want as models? We want the clothes. Like, pay me, but give me the clothes. So in my last shoot, I actually got the pick because it was a Japanese eyewear company. They said, and you get like 4, pairs of, sunglasses, whatever. I was like, and that to me was better than money, because I was like, oh, cool. Because when I'm wearing these, that'll be a nice conversation. Because, oh my God, those glasses look so good. I said, oh yeah, well, I did a photo shoot and blah, blah, blah. So, and I remember even when I was modeling back in the 80s in LA, the whole cool thing was, I know you're going to pay me, but I want some free stuff. And so, and in the industry, there is a practice of trade, not trade.
But Jaques, but hold on. Yeah. Andre Leon Talley is not a model.
And he doesn't wear Manola.
He was creative director for Vogue.
Absolutely.
So he didn't need the clothes.
But you know what? But and I think the New York Times article, and I know you're aware of this also, it spelled out beautifully just the practice, whether it's unconventional or not, but it is a very common practice for major designers to dress their their donors, their patrons, the people. Naomi gets tons of clothes. Inez de la Françage, who was the face of Chanel for a while, was dressed by, Lagerfeld. And so, that happens.
But I'm asking you, did Andre Leon Talley have on Manola Blanc? Is he wearing Manola Blancs?
I wasn't in his bedroom.
I just think It's really,
No,
it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. I think the takeaway is get everything in writing, and business and pleasure doesn't work. And handshakes, especially in the 21st century, that really doesn't work because you never know what's going to happen.
Look,
And
this sounds like a real
that's
estate. Totally. This is a real estate deal. It is a rental agreement. It is a financial agreement. And it is always nice to think that you can just shake a friend's hand and know that everything's going to work out. But as soon as money gets introduced, things get funny. And it is nice to have an audit trail and a document that you can both agree on that says, this is what we agreed to.
Right.
Here it is. And this is what the deal is.
No,
and it's unfortunate that he's going through that because, it's Andre Leon Talley.
Yeah. And it saddens me, but at the same time, this was 100% avoidable. And Vash, you said it best. Alvin, you said it best. If they had you have enough money to have a team of lawyers, just put the deal together for you, whether it was a lease option. Exactly. Yeah.
So I can't. I'm wishing him well. I don't want to see. I mean, because the way the papers and everything are portrayed is like he's being put out on the street, and nobody wants to hear that. So so we wish Andre Leon Talley well.
We do,
and we hope that he gets through this victorious. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. He's Andre Leon Talley. He will wrap himself in a drape and just go on down the street.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
That wasn't shade.
Don't do it. Don't do it. So look, wait a minute. Everybody knows what tonight is, and we're not going to give away any spoilers, are we, Jaques? Are we getting ready? We know that tonight is Coming to America tonight, everybody. So I'm not going to give a spoiler. I know I've seen it.
I've seen it.
I can't tell you, but please go home and watch it. But I do have something else that I want to talk to you guys about that's happening for a few minutes in the what do you call it, in the pop world. This weekend Oprah is interviewing Meghan and was it Meghan Markle, and
Meghan Markle
and Harry? Is it Harry?
Yes.
Is that her husband? Yeah, she's. I'm all about the British, so I'm just saying that, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be for those of you who like the British culture. I think that's going to be something a must watch this weekend. Okay, that's
I listened to the article on National Public Radio today, and it's going to be. Yeah, Oprah's going to go there. And I think one of the interesting things that I wasn't aware of, Alvin, and I'm sure you know everything, so you did know this, was that they're going to talk about Meghan's experience with the royals, through the lens of racial equity and, and racism. And so I wasn't aware that was one of the topics of discussion, but I'm interested to hear how Oprah's going to handle it because she's very artful of that. I'm really interested to hear Meghan's response. I think that's going to be enlightening, and apparently so are the royals. The entire royal family is waiting to hear that response because as powerful as Queen Elizabeth has been, over the decades and decades, as one of the longest reigning monarchs ever, especially in England. The royals have had their problems. I mean, even with Princess Diana and how they handled that whole thing, and so this is going to be very interesting. I'm really looking.
Go ahead.
They thought that there are conspiracy theorists that say that Diana was offed because of her relationship with someone outside of her race. Right. So to suddenly have one of the beloved little princes from that union who are really the heirs to the throne, marry completely out. I mean, it was bound to show cracks in
the monarchy. There was a monarchy.
The monarchy, but I love the accent. The monarchy.
And I'm a huge fan of I'm a huge fan of the Crown. So I think it's going to be great.
Well, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have to move on to our next segment. Thank you guys for the pop-up, and Vash is all about yours. Who are we celebrating this week in Black Achievement?
Well, this is the part of the show where we celebrate Black excellence. And today we're going to talk about actually two people. So the 2020 election is going to be talked about for generations. I mean, that is going to be taught in schools. It's going to be brought up in all kinds of political conversations. But I want to talk about two people because there was something that happened in the election of the representatives of the 117th Congress that bear note. And because we are talking about Black excellence, I want to highlight the Black excellence.
Come on now.
Right?
Okay.
So there were two people that were voted in. One I'm going to talk about. His name is Richie Torres. And he is the representative of the 14th Congressional District in New York. He is the first openly gay Afro-Latino to be voted into Congress. He comes from a district in New York that is not known for being extremely gay friendly. And yet they voted him in.
Wow.
You know, he comes from a single family home where his mom raised them. They lived in the projects. He suffered asthma because the conditions in the place were not kept up. And it was when he saw the city and state of New York pay to build a golf course for Trump, just basically across the street from where they
his house.
And he was like, you know what? This is completely unacceptable. This is unequitable. And we need representation. I'm going to go for it. And without ever having any sort of a role model, he went ahead and did it. He was the youngest city council person in that district and has just gone on. And now he's in Congress. So we celebrate Richie Torres for your Black excellence.
And
appreciate all that you're going to do.
Thank you.
Do we know if he's single?
You know what? I do not know if he is single.
Okay. So that'll be my homework assignment. I'll Google that.
I was going to say that can be your homework assignment. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes, because I am many things. A pimp is not one. The next person we're going to talk about.
You're a connector, right?
I am a connector. I am indeed. Let's talk about love as a verb. So the next person I want to talk about is another first. He is the first African-American or Black, depending on which term you like to use, openly gay male, not gone into the 117th Congress. And his name is Mondaire Jones.
Wow.
There is he. Look at him. Look at him. First of all, both of these gentlemen are very, very handsome. And
absolutely.
Not to take anything away from their capabilities, they're extremely motivated. He's also from a single family home. His mother supported them and their family. And without seeing, again, any representation in Congress, he was determined to represent and to strive and achieve greatness. And I am so happy and thrilled for both of them because, you know, I really feel represented a bit more in Congress now that both of them are there. Cori Bush is there. We've got AOC. Oh, and by the way, in New York is making it happen. They have Richie Torres, Mondaire Jones, and AOC. They represent the 14th, the 16th, and the 17th districts of, you know, those boroughs. And that's really amazing. I mean,
representation matters.
Absolutely.
Representation matters.
Absolutely.
Representation matters. So
yes, it does.
Okay.
Nice.
Thank you.
Love that.
Yeah, I really want to celebrate both of them.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, guys. You know, it's when we're doing this show, time just seems like it just like almost it's like flies by so fast. But I want to make sure that, you know, in our wrap up that we also talk about something that happened last week when we were talking about facing our fears, ladies and gentlemen. Vash, Jaques, and I. Again, we thank you for joining us last week, but us being right here, right now, and hearing the comments that you provided to us last week about facing our fears, it was really good for us. And I'm not speaking for Vash or Jaques, but we talked about it, and it was really good. And then on another part of the wrap up last week, we did talk about Lady Sings the Blues. But we want to make sure that we give a special kudos to Mr. Lee Daniels. Okay, Mr. Lee Daniels.
Yes. Black excellence.
Mr. Lee Daniels did that thing, and even though he was not nominated, you know what I'm saying? Which, you know, I mean, I'm sure that goes. We still have the Oscars that we're going to, but the fact that he pulled Andra Day up, and on her first time acting, and he created a star. I mean, because she played that role incredibly well, and I know we've all seen it, and we were just so happy. But I do want to give Lee Daniels credit for that, because we talked about the Golden Globes last week, but we didn't talk about Lee Daniels at all. But he has arrived again. Okay,
we should have him on the show. I would love to talk to him because he has done.
Lee, go ahead, go.
Open invitation to Lee Daniels. If you are watching this, or someone you know is watching this, we want to have you on. I would love to talk to him. I would love to celebrate him face to face.
Oh, and he said, we would even add another. He said, Lee, okay, we would do it. We would do it if you would like to come on the show. Guys, this is like the end of the show. And
already
we have a few minutes, so I want to hear from you before we go into the feel good, because our show on the power of love, I feel like we have so much that we could have explored. We got 50 questions and we could only get through 7 of them tonight. I mean, I'm sorry, 6 of them tonight. So I would love to revisit that topic again, because some of these questions are like really good, and I didn't get a chance to ask you guys because I want to know how you guys feel about it. But we didn't get to a lot of questions, but we want people to go to where our Instagram account that's already set up. He said live at Instagram, and also go to our Gmail at he said live at Gmail, and send us your comments, send us your questions. And next week, that's right, our show next week is going to be the skin you're in. So we're gonna talk about body shaming. We're gonna talk about and ladies and gentlemen, let me help prepare you. The skin that I'm in, the skin you're in. We're talking about how men are shamed. Okay, how men are abused and how they deal with it. We're going to talk about self-love. We're going to talk about the things that some men do to make sure that they look well for you. Okay, thank you, Don. Thank you, Don. We need to talk about that. And who knows, we might have a beauty expert on here, because some things are changing. Some things are changing, because I know 2 years ago, what I see now, especially like with men wearing the skinny pants and stuff, that was looked at kind of funny, wasn't it? It was looked at kind of funny, right?
I kind of have to say, anybody wearing skinny pants shouldn't be looked at funny. I don't think skinny, I can't even let skinny pants go by without a comment. No.
I'm sorry. But I'm just saying, we're going to talk about the skin you're in, ladies and gentlemen, next week. So, is there anything you guys want to say? Any closing remarks before I give them the feel good?
Well, I wonder if it does.
Vash,
I just wonder if someone sends in a video question or something like that, might we be able to play that? Do we know that answer?
I think we do. Yes, when you send in your comments, I think I said that. I know I didn't. I don't think I said that. Thank you. When you send in any of your questions or comments, especially about the skin you're in, if you guys want to send in your questions or comments, if it's a question, we would love to bring you on, videotape you and bring you on. We can do that. We would love to hear from you and what you have to say. So if you have a question about the skin, the skin you're in, even about this topic today, the power of love, send your comments and questions to our Gmail account or to our Instagram account. Please go to Instagram and like us. Go like us. He said live. Go like us. But send your questions, and yes, Vash, we can have them on, and we can tape them and have them read their question themselves.
Awesome. We can definitely awesome. I just like that.
We can definitely do that. Well, this actually, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting. I'm a rocker, as you can tell. So we are nearing the end of our show, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to leave you with this this feel good this week. There are 3 solutions to every problem: accept it, change it, or leave it. If you can't accept it, change it, and if you can't change it, leave it. Okay. How about that? How about that, ladies and gentlemen? And with that, again, thank you for joining us tonight. We have had a great time. Thank you for all of you who have been coming in. Vash and Jaques, you know how I feel about you. Okay, so
Love
thank
You
you.
can still tell us. You can still
Okay.
tell us.
Oh, okay. I'm crazy about you. I'm crazy about you. I'm crazy about you. You guys are just incredible, and I'm so glad to be on this journey with you. And I'm just so happy, and I can't believe it. Show number 2 is almost over, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you for joining us tonight, and we hope that you will come back next week when our show will be The Skin You're In, and you are now we're about to sign off of He Said, He Said, He Said. Thank you
Bye,
for
guys.
joining us,
Have a
ladies
great
and gentlemen.
weekend.
Have a great night.
Bye, you
All right,
guys.
take care.
Bye.
Thanks for joining in. Good night.